What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Exploring the Unknown. Got to make it creepy, you know? I'm Dustin,
I'm Luke.
and we are the hosts with the most ghosts. Today, we have on Daniel Benoit, and I'm sure if you are in the Bigfoot community, you know who that is.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's pretty big in the Bigfoot community.
Absolutely. But first, before we get into that, we got some podcast mentions. We have a website called exploringtheunknownpod.com, and we would love if you could go check that out. Sorry, I feel
Yeah,
goofy today.
yeah, definitely go check that out.
We update it every week with new episodes. There's a podcast episode page there, as well as a merch page where we have some merch. Go.
Yeah, go check out the merch. We have some pretty cool items on there.
And we'll be updating that with more as time goes on. And if you would like to support the podcast, we have a couple of affiliate links down in the show notes. If you purchase anything through either of those links, you will be supporting the podcast. And if that's not your thing, we also have a donation section. You can go to Cash App or PayPal and make a donation. And in the text, you can type in a would you rather question that Luke and I will explore in a future episode. Don't forget to go and check out our YouTube if you are listening to this on Spotify or any other streaming platform. Make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube, like and share the video, and comment down below. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Because a hot dog a sandwich.
I don't know. Is it? I mean, it's between two pieces of bread, so why can't it be a sandwich?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that would argue that it's a hot dog. Like that's it. There's nothing else like it.
I could say yes, but I mean, if you eat a hot dog without a bun, then why can't that could be a hot dog, but with a bun, why can't it be a sandwich?
Right. I mean, I'm not arguing. I'm biased about it, to be honest.
May 25th, PA Myth and Legends in Somerset, PA. We will be there recording and scheduling podcast. We might have some merch there. Not sure yet, but we might have some merch. And PA Camping Adventure, September 6th and 7th in Farmington, PA. Tickets are $50 for the weekend. You can get separate days, Saturday and Sunday, which are cheaper. If you don't want to spend the whole weekend, you can come either Saturday or Friday or Saturday. It's not Saturday and Sunday. It's Friday and Saturday.
Right. And that's September 6th and 7th.
Yes. And we will be there with merch, recording podcasts, scheduling podcasts. We're there to have some fun. I'm excited for them, Bish.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And if you've had an encounter and would like to be on the show, please reach out to us in any way that you can. We have a contact page on our website, but we've had some people reach out to us through Facebook. So however you got to do it, get a hold of us because we would love to have you on to talk about your experience.
Yes, let's talk about Daniel Benoit.
Yes. Yeah. Daniel was amazing to talk to. He had a lot to say.
Yes, he did. A
But
lot to say.
it was really cool though. I had a good time talking to Daniel. Daniel is an author. He is also founder and wildlife researcher of the East Coast Bigfoot Organization. You can find his YouTube channel. It's called Bigfoot Zone, and he's actually the one that's hosting the PA Myths and Legends. That's how we got put onto that.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel, for letting us get on to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm ready to jump into this. You ready to jump into this?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, man. So Daniel Benoit, right? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I was worried that I was going to say it incorrectly.
Oh no, you're good. No, there's actually two ways of pronouncing it. It's actually Benoit, which is actually the American pronunciation, and then of course you got Benoit. So
Hmm.
a lot of people know the name Benoit either from other French affiliations down in Louisiana, or it's the Canadian side of things because it is the Canadian French name. So
Yeah.
yeah, of course they know out in France they know the name Benoit out there, but I don't know how common of a French name it is in France compared to where it is up in Canada or down south. But yeah, so yeah,
Cool. That's awesome.
so
So you do Bigfoot research, and you're also a cryptozoologist, correct?
yes, that's correct. And I actually just got back from the woods doing some camping. So
Oh, nice.
and yeah, I have a lot of video footage, and part one just finished finally uploading. So I just got a notification on my phone.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I was checking out your YouTube. You spend a lot of time out there.
I try to every opportunity I can. I try to jump out there because I can't get enough of it. So my fiance Julie, me and her, we've done a lot of camping together ourselves. She actually recently got me involved with hammock camping. So I'm still new to that. I got some
Hmm.
adjustments to work out along the ways, but it's fun. I will say that it's fun. Except don't go camping in the pouring rain and it's really cold. You'll be miserable. But I mean, I camp in the rain and all kinds of weather, but hammock camping, since I'm new to it, so I get better situated and more organized on that. Yeah, um, yeah, I'll make do just for the warmer weather with that for now. So,
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a good time for sure.
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you get into Bigfoot research and cryptozoology?
Well, as I share and tell a lot of people, well, first of all, let me back up. Um, I've always had a serious enjoyment and respect and appreciation for the outdoors. I love playing in the woods. I mean, I love hiking and exploring. Um, but it was just like for a lot of people. It was that 1967 uh, famous Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin related Bigfoot footage that actually struck us. It put the spark in me, and that spark exploded. Um, you know, everybody's been fascinated with that film. That
Hmm.
film has been debated over the years. I mean, to this day, there's some diehard believers on it. Also, there's a lot of doubters about it. Um, everything I saw that's gone into it. I mean, I've been a believer for many years on it. Then again, certain other things get brought up and brought into the light that make you scratch your head and make you wonder, could it be, this or that, because I'll be honest with you, although a lot of people do not want to admit to it, there is some red flags involved with it. But
Hmm.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't want to get into that because everybody want to shoot me.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many supporters of it, but I will tell you again, that's what got me involved with this in the first place. But a big part of it, not the only thing, but it is a big part of what got me involved. And yeah, it's like I said, that spark, uh, you know, grew into that spark of curiosity grew into a passion. Um,
Hmm.
it had me not just going out to the woods anymore. It had me actually looking. My senses heightened, and everything. I was so more alert. You know, uh, just in touch with everything that's out there. And I tell you, it's done a lot for me, and I appreciate what that video footage has done. I mean, like I said, it opened a whole new world to me. So I really do appreciate what it's done. Um, it's had me looking more closely and listening, and a lot of little things started to stand out. A lot of things were noticed. Um, I have found tracks over the years, some questionable, but some I believe without doubt that they do belong to a large humanoid subject.
Yeah.
That we like to call Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Um, so yeah, I will say this from the early beginning of this podcast: Bigfoot is out there, and Bigfoot is alive and well. So
Oh, I believe it. Absolutely.
absolutely,
Have you ever
yeah.
casted any of them tracks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do have a collection of them. A lot of my casts, I have not made a cast from Pennsylvania yet, but most of my casts come from the state of Virginia. So,
Okay.
found out in the George Washington National Forest. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Is that where you
What's
reside?
up?
Is that
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania. I've been living in Pennsylvania for the last 5 months now. I live up here with my fiance. We'll be married here next month.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
oh, thank you. Absolutely. And um, yeah, I grew up in Virginia. I'm originally from the state of Massachusetts. However, it was age 11 when me and my family moved to Virginia. Dad's job brought us down there. He's been long retired, of course. So I've gotten to learn a lot of the wildlife, in the wilderness and the forest in Virginia, and I mean I've had a touch of knowledge and experience of here in Pennsylvania several years ago, in my earlier part of my research and exploring. Um, yeah, several years ago, I actually spent 2 months in Pennsylvania. I took advantage of that time, and I spent a lot of time out in the woods exploring and just to look around and see what I can come across. And it's been quite fascinating, pretty interesting. And that was actually over in Bedford, Pennsylvania, over around Shawnee State Park. So
Okay.
beautiful area. I definitely want to get back there again. Yeah, I think it needs more time, more more time spent there. I should be more specific on that. More time spent there. It needs to be observed more. So, um, but I tell you, right here in Somerset, Pennsylvania, in surrounding areas, it's been very rewarding. There's some images and stuff I have yet that I'm going to include in my video footage for my recent camp out. Because not everything's on video, some of it's just on pictures. Where I'll pop that in, include that on the video when I get ready to upload all that. But like I said, part one just finished uploading. It's like 97 minutes, whatever. Um, I have a lot more. Hopefully, I should be able to get the rest of it in on part two. Because like I said, every now and then I'll add an image in there, and because like I said, some of my findings, if I find anything cool or interesting, I try to, I'll pop it up on the screen either as an overlay or by itself. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, of course, if you guys want to check that out, I will. Well, it's actually not public yet because I have it scheduled to air tomorrow. So,
Oh, okay.
but if you guys want to check that out, I'll try to share the link sometime after we get off here. My YouTube channel, Bigfoot Zone E.C.B.R.O. So if you guys want to follow that, check that out. Feel free to. But like I said, I'll definitely make sure I share it on my timeline, and I'm usually sharing stuff around in other groups. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I got that to look forward to. But
That's cool.
absolutely, yeah.
And we'll be sure to put that link down in the show notes for people to be able to find it easier.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that too.
Yeah, for sure, for
Um,
sure.
so, I know I'm into rambling and stuff. I could go on about this, whatever. But if you don't mind me just throwing it out kind of early, I do believe I spoke to you, Luke, about it as far as the upcoming event that me and my fiance are hosting right here in Somerset. We're very excited for it. Um, May 25th at the Bakersville Community Grove Park right here in Somerset. Um, we really think we're going to have a great turnout. I mean, an amazing turnout. It's been getting a huge response to the Pennsylvania Myths and Legends Festival that's taking place there. Um, I mean, a lot of work has been put into this. We got roughly nearly around 70 vendors for this event,
Oh,
and
wow.
food trucks and all kinds of arts and crafts, artists themselves, and a lot of Bigfoot and other cryptid themed vendors that are well involved with this. And shout out and thanks to Mr. Joe Fogel. For those who know Joe Fogel from Johnstown, he's the man behind the scenes of the Squanzapalooza Festival up in Johnstown. Me and him, good friends. He's been a vendor of mine, because I host an event in Virginia every June. He's been a vendor of mine down there every year, and he's been a great help gathering and sending vendors my way for this event. So I really do appreciate everything he's done. He's gone out of his way to send me a lot of his vendors, and he's got a great reputation. So his vendors had no problem jumping on board with me, seeing that he's he's backing me on all this. So 'cause he's been doing his event for so many years now, and like I said, he's got a good name for himself, and he knows me real well, so he had no problem sticking his neck out the, throw his vendors towards me. So yeah, that's where most of my vendors come from. And funny note is too about that real quick. I had one lady commented, "I wish you weren't so far away. I wish you guys would come to Johnstown." I said, "Well, all of my vendors are coming from Johnstown." I said, "You're only 30 minutes away, so why don't you take a ride? Get out of your living." I don't get it why people think things are so far away from them. Where I was like, "Come on, live a little. Get out of your comfort zone." I got people coming from out of state, North Carolina, West Virginia. I mean, I got people coming from several hours away. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. You're local. They're not. Come on out. Stop being a bummer.
Yeah.
Just like my Virginia event. I got people coming from Oklahoma, and I got people from all different parts of the. Yeah, I got people from different parts of the United States coming out to my Virginia event. So, I mean, it is what it is. But people look at these events and think, "Man, they're so far away." Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people dedicate themselves to that want to get together with other like-minded people. People that because these events, yeah, people share stories and people love that. The guest speakers that we have, people get to hear their stories, their experience, their knowledge. And the big part of why I host these events is not just for the entertainment for the public, but it's to spread awareness of what we do, what we know. And a lot of people kind of fail to realize that because you have these other events here on the East Coast. And, I'm not going to mention no names, but down around Tennessee and so forth, a lot of people have turned these into what I call corporate events, commercial events, because they use the programs to hire in the big TV personalities, and they use the TV personality to draw in the crowd rather than let's get the boots on the ground people. Let's find the guys that really do this. No, they need to do let's draw in the crowd with bringing celebrities. I have no problem against bringing celebrity, but when you make your event all about the celebrities versus the real deal, that's where I have an issue with that. I've been approached by the TV personality, celebrity management people, and I would love to have those people, but it's not in my budget. I can only do so much. But yeah, we do try to include people when we're able to. TV personality. For those who know Turtle Man, we had Turtle Man in Virginia last year, all the way up from Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a great success. He had his own crowd that came out for him, which was awesome.
That's really cool.
A lot of people wanted us to bring him back, but he jumped way up on prices, so that was out of our budget. So yeah, some of these guys get extra popular with some of these particular events, and then that's up our prices. Well then no, you lost that money because you could have got a little bit. You could have got what you got the year before, but you got greedy. So,
yeah.
I understand. Sometimes you do got to go up on prices because nothing's cheap no more. So, but anyway, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good, man. I didn't know that there were so many events out there until we started really talking to people. Like it's all over the place.
Yeah, there is a lot of new ones. I got friends of mine that want to start things up in their areas. I was like, well, I mean, you got to be dedicated to it. I mean, I've had people that start stuff up like here in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a great place for locations. They got the Forest County Bigfoot Festival out in Marionville. I spoke there last year. Oh my gosh, that was a huge event. That was a big turnout. And because there's people came out from Ohio and all the surrounding areas. I drove 6 hours from, I was living in Virginia. It was a 6-hour drive for me, and I love the drive. And so yeah, that's a big event that's been going on for so many years, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now. I don't know. And then of course, if you go east of me, you got Gwendolyn Purcell, a real good friend of mine. I've spoken at events with her. She started her event up last year, great success. So now she's doing her second year event. Um, I think her event's going to be a little bit bigger this year. I mean, she had a great turnout for her first year event. So kudos to her for what she's doing. She's investing a little bit more. Um, but now, right here, like I was talking about earlier, Somerset, I think this spot, I just have this feeling because Somerset's right in that. From what I'm picking up, you got Johnstown just above us, and then you got these other surrounding towns, and so I mean, I think Somerset's going to explode. I really think Somerset's going to go big. I mean, that'd be great because me and Julie's already been talking about another venue that might provide more space. Only because, like, I would love to have more vendors, but I think the 70 vendors that we have right now, I think that's going to be kind of tight. So, and then we got to consider public parking. So I've already told her, I said, some of these vendors, the way the field and the park set up, they're going to have to park with their setup. That's the way it's going to have to go. Because we need to try to get most of that parking. And we have a field right before you drive through the gate. There's a field. We're already going to have some vendors in that field. Then you drive through the gate, and then boom, the whole festival is right there. So I mean, we're going to have a good flow of vendors through there. So we'll see. This is going to be our first event. We'll see how it turns out. We get live entertainment, But yeah, like I said, Pennsylvania has got several events. There's actually a couple events in Johnstown. One's later in September. But yeah, one's in September. The Squan's Palooza with Joe, that's in August. So yeah, Pennsylvania has several events. Like I said, mine's in Virginia, but the East Coast is blown up with conferences. North Carolina has a few. Tennessee's got several. And then, of course, you keep going. Every state from here on down south has one. Yeah. So
yeah, we actually just booked our first convention at the end of this year, September 6th and 7th. We're going to the PA Bigfoot camping adventure.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm very familiar with that. So, yeah, because I got a couple campouts I'm hosting myself. One is immediately following the festival, the May 25th event.
Okay.
We'll be out camping for a whole week, and then we have an October fall camp out in Virginia. We're doing for a week. So, I host two campouts, two group campouts every year. My Virginia people that know I do one every May, they're coming up here for the Pennsylvania one I'm doing here. And then, of course, a lot of them are excited for the one we're doing in Virginia. The one I've been doing in Virginia, we've always stayed in the same national forest, just sometimes we switch up a location here and there. But we're actually getting out of the whole general area, and we have a new spot we're going to be picking out. I've already been discussing that with one of the other members of our team. And it's official. We're excited about this location because this particular location, not to mention it's got all the mountain lion reports from this area, from the locals, but I've heard several Bigfoot reports from this area. Bear hunters reported seeing things in this area. I've seen pictures from people's phones of these trackways found in the snow out there. I mean, very impressive stuff. So I'm anxious to get out there and spend some time out there, and see what we might experience and what we might be able to find. So, but
yeah.
I mean, this particular area, it's a little bit further north from where we normally camp in Virginia. But basically, if you look at the whole area, the woods, they all connect. It is a little closer to West Virginia, but it's still in Virginia. So, yeah. So, yeah. But that's all I can say about that, But for now, anyway. So,
I may have had
a
a
question?
Bigfoot encounter up in Somerset.
What's that now?
I may have had a Bigfoot encounter up in Somerset. I'm not really sure because I didn't see anything. But I was during hunting season in November. I was at my cabin because I have a cabin up in Somerset. I think I told you that. And
yeah, I'm remembering now. Yeah.
And it was real snowy this year. I forget what year it was. And I went for a walk behind my cabin, which is a big like hillside, and I heard something huge. My uncle remembers hearing it too, and it ran across the mountain, and I couldn't tell, thinking now, if it's bipedal or not. But whatever this thing is was big, and I wish now, thinking about it, I would have went back up there the next day to look for tracks. I didn't even think about it at that time. I was like, damn, I really wish I could have went back and looked for tracks. But
Right.
it was fast and loud and big, whatever this
Wow.
thing was. And I don't know if it was a bear, Bigfoot, but it was big.
Well, you mentioned there was snow. So this was, you said what month? What did you say? November, September, November,
Um,
or I can't remember if you mentioned or not.
Whenever rifle season first comes in, so it'd be
Oh,
November.
so it would be, yeah, November. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Um, but it sounded real heavy. It was either one big giant black bear or it sounds like it could have been a squatch. So, um, yeah, because even I know, was it pretty cold temperature wise?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, because the black bears, a lot of black bears, they still could have been trying to pig out and fill their bellies up while they could. Uh, a lot of them do slow down. A lot of them are not as active when it gets cold or super cold out. But that's one thing I was actually surprised. I mean, even though we have been getting some warmer weather, but yet we still get cold weather here. During my exploring this past weekend, I mean, yeah, I found some bear tracks up there where I was at. I definitely found some bear tracks. Uh, they weren't big, but they weren't small. They were like I found a couple that were double step bear tracks. I do try to point them out. I know the camera doesn't do justice when it comes to tracks. I don't know why, unless it's like in a clear soil or clear detail. Um, but most tracks do not show detail on the camera, which it kind of irks me. So, but I'll try to show when I'm holding the camera, showing like the one track, the double step bear track I found. It did if you overlook it and only glance at it, it looks like one solid track. But I did point out on video camera, you can see the toes in the front with the front paw, and then you can see the toes like so far back below that front paw they came from the hind foot, and it's all joined together. Um, Not every double step bear track is going to look obvious. Some of them are very deceiving, and I'll be the first to admit that I have been deceived on multiple occasions on bear tracks. Um, I know a lot of bear tracks. When I find them, I like until I realize what they are. They look like a Bigfoot track, one solid complete track. Some of them are so put together, so smooth and combined. But yeah, just there's certain details I've learned to look for. Like the slightest off step. The double set, the extra set of toes in the track. Little things like that. And again, it's not always obvious, but you got to, like I tell people, you just got to be careful. Take your time. Try not to get excited. The biggest thing is I try to tell people get Bigfoot off your brain. Um, Especially all the newbies. I've been asked numerous times about, from young and old people, hey, look, I'm looking to get involved with this. What should I do? What are the first steps I should do? Uh, you know, some of the basic things I like to share with people is, well, you want to get familiar with the location. Pick a location, an area of interest, and get familiar with it. Learn the terrain. Try to learn and get familiar with all the different species of wildlife that inhabit, that roam that through that area. That's very important. You want to know your wildlife. Um, Second thing is when you do start getting equipment together, which I tell them keep it basic. A lot of times you just need your own personal senses. That's the best tools. Unless you want to start documenting, use your camera phone. I mean, I use this 99.999% of the time. My smartphone. Yes, I have a really good camera, a camcorder. I got actually three camcorders, but out of all of them, I love using this. Why? It's easy. Just to upload everything. It's everything's at a touch. So I can snap pictures and everything so much easier. I mean, I got my Sony. I mean, this little guy right here. I've had this for years. I love this little camera. You know, it's it's the handyman camera. Works excellent, real great. And then I don't have it nearby, but my new Canon Pro X10, whatever it's called. Yeah, it's a $1,700 camera. I'm still learning how to use that one. It's got great night vision, great audio. Everything's great on it, but I've only been doing small segments with it because I'm still trying to get familiar with everything. I don't want to start just going out there wasting my filming and not know how to use it. But yeah, if you got a smartphone, you're good to go. You got all your documentation tools right here. I snap a lot of photos with a phone. You can do videos with it. And the one thing I tell people, if you're going to video, like do it proper documentation, always turn your camera this way when you're filming. This is okay, but you're cutting out a lot of your scenery, and it looks a lot neater if you hold your phone sideways. Again, another tool I don't have right here is, you got stabilizers. If you don't want to hold the phone directly, I got a handheld stabilizer for this. And I brought it with me for the first time this weekend, still didn't use it. Either I had it on the tripod or I was holding my phone by myself. but yeah, use your phone, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to document things, but like, people, you hear people having Bigfoot stories and Bigfoot sightings all the time. And, oh, did you get a picture of it? No. Why not? Because, you were caught up in the moment. There's been times where, I wish I had a camera with me. Or if I did, I just didn't have no way to document it. But, or no, if you did, sometimes you get caught up in the moment. You don't think about pulling that camera out to get a better observation. Um, you know, but yeah, cameras are the best way to get, if you want to document stuff. But yeah, if you want to get involved, when you do get out there, just relax and have fun, enjoy nature, love nature. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm sorry, I got a little off track on things, but yeah, get Bigfoot off your brain. Focus on what is known to exist. Your wildlife species, because the unknown will stand apart. Things that you won't recognize if you're not familiar with wildlife. Then get familiar with wildlife, because wildlife is very important to know. One of my quotes I share, it's on my website, it's on my Facebook, it's everywhere. I even include it in a couple of books I have, is learn and know what is known before seeking the unknown. Because over the years, one of the things I've come to realize, especially in a lot of these Bigfoot groups, and not just Bigfoot groups, although I'm not a believer in Dogman, I still join these groups just to see what people are sharing. I have seen for myself, people are sharing large feline cat tracks, and calling them Dogman tracks. And this is the problem with a big part of the community. They're misinformed, they're not educated, and they're just going at it. And that's why we have people laughing and making mockery at us, because people are not familiar or aware of what our known species are. They're misidentifying things constantly. And I'm not saying everybody is, but a big part of them are doing this. And it makes people like me and all the other serious ones out there, it makes us look like a laughing joke, a laughing stock, So, but yeah, people get familiar with your known species. I have people or I've talked to people that's 50, 60, 70 years old. You'd be surprised that some of these people, you would think they would have more knowledge than people like me. I'm only 44, that would be more familiar with species, wildlife species. No, some of these very same people are the ones misidentifying things out there because they got Bigfoot on the brain. They got this on the brain. They got everything on the brain except for what's logical, what's real, So I know I repeat myself a lot. There's been numerous times, like I've said this on video so many times. I've said this in presentations. Um, you know, I I got to the point where like I started pointing some of this out. I started sharing other people's posts just to show why I'm saying this. Like, this is what people call this. I said, we see this, we know this as this, but it's being called this. For those who know Dr. Jeff Melton, he's been doing the same thing. He sees these bear tracks being posted around, floating around social media. There's one in particular he's recently reshared. It's from 2014. People are calling it Bigfoot tracks. But he made a post where he clearly said, I'm frustrated to see this being floating around where people saying this is Bigfoot. No, this is obviously a bear track. And for those who know bear tracks, yes, it is clearly, obviously a bear track. And that's the problem with, again, what I just said. Everybody's not informed. They're misinformed. They're misidentifying. They're not educated on this stuff. You're never too old to learn wildlife if you don't get out enough to witness or experience or to observe our wildlife species in their tracks. I mean, but again, that's why I tell people get Bigfoot off your brain. You know, all these cryptids and whatever. We go out there with the blinders on, focus on one thing instead of realizing what else is out there. So I learned about the blinder thing back when I used to do sales for ADT Home Security. The guy who our instructor, our coach was telling, yeah, we got to put the blinders on and focus on that one thing. But no, that's the problem when we're involved with Bigfoot and cryptids. We do have blinders on. We're not aware. We're ignoring everything else that's out there rather than realizing what we do have. So
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about that. I'm sorry, I'm rambling again.
No, you're good, man. But I'm
So
curious, like, have you ever had any personal encounters with Bigfoot? Have you ever seen it?
yes, yeah. Now I've had a few different experiences, but as far as encounters themselves go, back in 2014, yeah, actually a group of us, there was 6 of us all together. We actually had an encounter, and it happened during one of our group campouts in Virginia. And tell you what, after doing a lot of exploring during the day, we found some pretty cool stuff here and there. But you know, we made it back to camp, and we were just talking about. Well, after we relaxed and had something to eat, it's like, well, somebody's like, hey, can we go out tonight and hike out? Hike during the night. I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, we're out here. This is what we're here for. So we were roughly almost a mile from the lake. And so we got to talking, hey, let's walk down to the lake in the area here. And, just kind of browse around, check through that area. And I said, I think it'll be a good area. If we hear any vocals, we'll definitely hear vocals very good because regardless of, where they come from, we'll definitely pick them up around the lake because you got 2 big high ridges, that surround the lake. Well, one side they call it. I'll mention the name. It's called Elkhorn Mountain on the one side, and then you got just a high to medium size ridge line over there on the one side of the lake, and of course it basically wraps around. You're basically that lake sets in like a big saddle. Well, this is the only way I know how to describe it. But yeah, we end up working our way down to the lake. Now, one thing I will point out, by the time we headed down there, it was already in the evening, but we still had daylight. So, but all 6 of us, we headed down to the lake on foot from where our base camp was, and we got down there. And when we got to the actual lake itself, we decided to pair up in twos and spread out around the lake. And so, yeah, everybody, that way we weren't completely alone. Everybody had a team because it was getting dark, it was starting to get dark. Like I said, by the time we got down there was still some daylight left. Like, we didn't need to turn our lights on yet because we knew where we were going. So, yeah, after spreading around the lake, because we had one couple that was down from Vermont, they, Kimmy and Darren, they actually stayed on the lake has this little peninsula that has a little bench. Kimmy and Darren, they were an older couple. They actually stayed there. And yeah, they stayed put at the little bench that was out on the peninsula. The rest of us walked to the service road that runs along the side of the lake. And every so often along that one side of the lake, there's these little handicap accessible little docks or piers, whatever you want to call them. There's just basically little squares with railings on it. You can roll your wheelchair on it. But so yeah, well, that's what we did. We spread out around the lake, and we, like I said, we were in pairs of 2, and we all had radio communication and everything else. And it was quiet. It was starting to get dark. It was, we were losing daylight and or sunlight, I should say. But we weren't hearing nothing except on occasions. A couple of us, me, I myself, and then I know my buddy Tracy, we're the only ones we had parabolic microphones, and we were both listening On occasions, on the ridge behind us, you'll hear like an occasional little limb snap or what sounds like some light footfall, like some deer or something. So nothing to get exciting about. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, we got to do a vocalization. Now, are you guys familiar with Bobo from Finding Bigfoot? There's a one known, his famous Bigfoot call that he's known for doing. Well, I love sharing this, and I've shared this multiple times. Kimmy, and Darren, Kimmy is just a little thing. Like I said, she's just a little thing, and I gotta say, I'm very proud to brag on her vocals. But she is like the female version of Bobo. That little lady could put out a good vocalization. It sounds just like Bobo, but just tweaked into a female voice, you know. So, so yeah. So she put out her vocalization because we communicated. So all right, after Kimmy does the vocalization, everybody just remains silent and we're gonna listen, see what happens. And sure enough, she gave off her vocalization. After it was done, we stopped and listened. And then, sure enough, which was very interesting, unexpected, a good 10 seconds or so after she gave off her vocal, we did hear what sounded like a return response from a little bit further a distance on the opposite side of that ridge. And so it was kind of exciting. Like, hey, was it somebody else? Was it somebody responding? Or did we get was it Bigfoot? I don't know, but we got a response regardless, which it did pump us up a little bit. It kind of made us excited. So then again, after that, some time went by, and it got to the point where it was getting late, and we decided to regroup. And, we all met down there with Kimmy and Darren from where they were sitting at. And then the six of us decided, come on, guys, it's time to head back to camp. Like I said, we had almost about a mile hike, and we started to set foot. And we're walking along. We started off, and we're walking in single file line, and I am in front of everybody, and we're walking. We're all talking at normal tone. We're not trying to keep quiet. And so as we're getting so far up, we're talking, and I'm just looking around because we all have our headlamps on. For the record, at this time, I will tell you it was just around midnight, and we're getting up to this spot, and then all of a sudden, right on the side of the road, walking right towards us was this deer. And what was interesting about seeing this deer here, it was walking straight towards us, and it was only maybe 10 feet away from us right before it nonchalantly turned off and went further into the darkness to disappear. Because like most of the deer in the area, they're very skittish, especially during hunting season, of course. But right. The deer, it's like they're smart. They know when hunting season is. They know at that time we weren't going to touch them. They're. I don't know what it is. My observation with deer is they're very intelligent. They know things. Oh, but yeah. They'll hang around you all season, but come hunting season, they move to Beverly Hills or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well.
Yep. So again, yeah, I just thought it was odd that hey, that deer hung around that close, and even when it walked off, it's just like I said, nonchalantly, like blah blah blah, But here's where it got interesting. Right after seeing that deer, as we walked up past where that deer walked off in front of us, as I'm in front, I'm looking up across on the opposite side of that road, and all of a sudden something catches my attention. I was like, what the heck is that? And I'm looking at it, and keep in mind, in the national forest here in Virginia, there's these random little yellow signs, and some of them will say, like, no vehicles beyond this point. And that's what I thought I was looking at. I was like, that's a weird place or an odd place for one to be, because it's all woods. It's real thick right there, I say, why would a vehicle go that way anyway, Then I realized I kept staring at it, and I realized it was a set of eye shine because it became in focus and it blinked. And when I saw it blink, I called my buddy Tracy Arnold, was the next one behind me. I said, Tracy, what is that? And then I'd go on and say, is that a beep mountain lion? My first initial thoughts was it a mountain lion? Mm-hmm. So, because as I'm looking at it, these bright looking yellow glowing eyes, and they were kind of low to the ground. That's the first initial thought. I'm thinking, I'm looking face to face at a mountain lion, and all of a sudden we're staring at it, and it zips off, like it disappears really fast. And then Tracy calls the rest of the group, guys, get up here. We got eye shine. Keep in mind, we had no clue what we're looking at. I didn't know. I had no idea what this was. But we all get up there, we recruit, and we get into that very spot where we first saw that set of eye shine. And we're looking down into the woods. And for the record, right there from the edge of the road, it did slope down. It sloped down several feet and then leveled back out. So right there by the tree where whatever that set of eye shine was, it was low right there. So that explains whatever it was either still small to begin with or it was crouching way down.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me, for the record, we picked up that set of eye shine again. Even though we're looking down at this, we noticed it was still small. So from the height and the distance we were at, we were probably a good 30 feet from it, maybe between 30 and 40 feet. And from my observation, from what I recall, I estimated that it was around, okay, this can't be any taller than 4 feet tall. So yeah, it was about 4 feet tall. And what was interesting about it was swaying side to side very swiftly. Like, I'm just not thinking of anything. I mean, now keep in mind for the record, yes, Bigfoot, the thought of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, never existed in my mind during this whole thing because, I mean, here's something I'm trying to figure out what the heck this is. I'm not making it out. We're not seeing no physical shapes. We're just seeing eye shine. No shapes, features, and nothing. And I'm like, what the heck is this? What is doing that? And I'm trying to go through what I call my internal database in my head. Like, I'm familiar with all the species of wildlife in here. And whatever, this is not, it's not ringing a bell. It's like, it's not making no sense to me. What in the world is this? Bright, large looking yellow eyes, and it's swaying side to side pretty swiftly. I was like, what in the world is this? Now, keep in mind, as I'm staring at this, I'm starting to look a little bit, scan my eyes. I picked up, well, we all started together. Keep in mind, there were 6 of us there. And there was a second set of eye shine that appeared from out of nowhere. This second set of eye shine was probably about 5 feet away from that small one. But this one here was easily another 2 feet taller than that 4-foot one. And now this one here is not moving. This one's, not as far as we could tell, it wasn't moving. But if you watched it and kept your eyes on it and watched their eyes, it blinked on occasions. And the only thing I could think of, we had a couple bright lights on. Our headlamps were pretty bright. And so, perhaps our lights were, for them looking at us, whatever they were at the time, must have been kind of bright. So now we're looking at 2 subjects, and I call them subjects because at this time, like I said, I had no clue what we were looking at. And the small one's still swaying side to side. That taller one, just on occasion, it kept blinking his eyes sometimes, And we're not seeing no physical features and nothing at all in this one. And the reason you'll hear me continue on here shortly, but the only thing I could come up with or conclude is that, one, keep in mind this was after midnight. We're looking into a very dark forest, and it's real thick in there. There is bushes and trees everywhere. The only thing I could think of why we're not picking up any physical features or any other details that they had to be black. They had to have black hair for themselves, where they were blended in with the darkness. And just out of that, and also just out of that, what's the word I'm looking for? Out of that beam of our light, where they were just far enough back to where we couldn't make out the details too. That's the only thing I keep thinking about. So now we're watching these 2. I mean, what seems like it's going on for an hour has only been maybe a 2 to a few minutes. I just we're getting caught up in this mystery or whatever we're observing, and while that's going on, I don't know. Everyone else is doing their own thing. You hear people talking. Some people getting excited because they didn't know either. Nobody had no clue, and I'm scanning along, and I'm scanning my eyes through, and then keep in mind there's some thick bushes. There's a couple of trees, and my eyes happen to notice something else. And through the thick bushes, like very, very low to the ground, what appeared to be like almost on the ground, I pick up a 3rd set of eye shine. And I was like, Tracy. So no, I don't know if I call Tracy. I refer to Tracy a lot, but there was others with us. But he was next to us. and well, next to me, excuse me. And I said, "Look, guys." And I think after I pointed out, a couple of others took notice of it too. But there's another set of eye shine right there. And as I pointed out, my eyes did not move off it. I kept looking at that third set of eye shine. And I'm watching that third set of eye shine. All of a sudden, it's starting from the what appears to be on the ground, is starting to raise up. And it's still growing. It's still growing and moving taller and taller and taller. Next thing you know, you see that set of eye shine come over top of the bushes. And it stops. And it blinked. And keep in mind, for the record, same color eye shine. All three of these had the same color eye shine. Not one of them was different. Not at all. Not one of them was different. So this was probably another, from what I recall, another between 5 to 8 feet, maybe from the 6 foot one. And now keep in mind, for the record, we have a 4 foot one, a 6 foot one, and yes, this one was 2 feet taller than the 6 foot one. So now we have three subjects, 4, 6, and now we have this one that we're estimating to be around 8 feet tall. And yes, again, Bigfoot didn't cross my mind yet. Not me anyway. But Tracy Allen moved down in front of us, and Tracy was he had his son next to him. His son was only 14 at the time, and they were just getting excited. A couple people were making some silly noises, trying to see what kind of response or whatever they could get. And then it was from out of nowhere. Tracy said, "Guys, we got squatches." Now he said that, and then all of a sudden I got to thinking. I said, "Well, I want to believe that, but I need something more that's going to confirm that or tell me, yeah, these are squatches." Because just seeing eye shine at these different height levels just wasn't enough for me at this time.
Yeah.
I needed something more. And yeah, for the record, I mean, yeah, like I said, on the two of them, the 6 foot and 8 foot with blinking eyes, that short one, yes, it was still swaying side to side. It might have slowed up just a hair, but not much. It stayed swaying side to side. And, the whole time, like I said, yeah, it's exciting, but what are these? What is this? It just wasn't making no sense to me. And then even though Tracy said, "Guys, we got squatches," I needed that confirmation. Well, it did get interesting. Something else did happen, and because I seen that we had a very tall one, for some reason I was mesmerized by that. My eyes stayed glued on that one. That tall one actually made a maneuver where it actually turned to its left and appeared to take a step or two and turn back around facing us and blinked its eyes. When it made that maneuver, basically look at my shoulders on camera right here probably look very small compared to what I've seen. But when it made that maneuver, very wide, broad shoulders, very wide, broad shoulders, and a head that was like literally sitting on top of these broad shoulders, a big round head. I will say that. When I seen that there, to me, it's like, okay, these are not bears. At that point, Sasquatch did cross my mind. And I felt confident and comfortable enough to say that, okay, these got to be squatches. What else would these have been? I mean, bears don't have shoulders, they slope right down. And, you know, and then after this moment of all of us seeing this, they did all three almost like they were in sync together. They all turned off and disappeared further into the darkness, And after they disappeared, then that's when we stepped back and started going back. But as we were walking too, I know Kimmy, she was the only one that expressed any nervousness. The rest of us were acting like a bunch of fools, to be honest with you. I mean, silly kids, just making noises and stuff like that. It was exciting to me. I didn't feel scared. Again, Kimmy was the only one that expressed any fear or nervousness. But as we're walking, you could hear a limb snap or whatever, like whatever they were stepping on, you hear crack, snap, whatever. And of course, Kimmy freaked out. I was like, "Guys, they're following us." I said, No, they're just walking through the woods. There's a lot of thick brush back there. I said, I've been back there numerous times. I know it's back there. They're just retreating, going about their business. So yeah, we did get back to camp. We were talking about it after we got settled down, and we were trying to debunk it. We were literally trying to go back over, like, could these have been anything else? What else could these have been? So we made an appointment to go back to back to that spot the next day. And we did a height comparison. We had one gentleman with us. Oh man, I'm trying to remember his name. Excuse me, Cliff. His name was Cliff Stanley. So we got there. Cliff was probably a couple inches taller than me. I'm 6 foot tall. He was a little taller than me. He's an older gentleman. Me and Cliff got down to the spot where we seen everything, and while the others were up, two of them were, yeah, I think two of them were up on the roadway. Me and Cliff were down there in the general area where they were, and then a couple of others were walking around looking for tracks. But when we did our height comparison, we were pretty much on point with what we estimated the night before. Um, so that was interesting, you know. As far as finding tracks in there, the ground was all lumpy and uneven, had grass, you know, the way the grass grew through there and the thorns and everything. So it was very hard to pick up or notice anything, just, you know, anything distinguished or that stood out. Um, but I do want to continue on and add on another situation that I kind of want to almost include with this situation. A year later, in the same section of woods just around the corner, it was during hunting season. And I do camp out there. I tent camp a lot out there during the hunting season.
Mhm.
Well, there's primitive spots all through there, you know, and there's one big spot just outside of the area where usually a lot of old timers will take their campers and camp out there for a week or two at a time. Nobody was camped there. There's another small spot just up a little ways. Excuse me. And I took that spot. And I was like, oh, this is plenty good enough. This is, you know, I took that spot. I set up my tent there, blah, blah, blah. Well, in November 2015, I was camping there, and I don't know, I'm going to say it was probably between 10 o'clock. It was probably around 10 o'clock at night. I was sitting there. I had the fire going, shotgun leaning up against my vehicle, and I was bored. It was just, it was so quiet out there. I got to the point where I was getting bored. You know, I had, it was, I mean, even though I was bored, it was still relaxing, but I just had to get up and move around. And I decided to, you know, to grab my spotlight. My spotlight is one of the ones, you know, got the trigger on it, you know. And I decided to grab my spotlight and walk out to the middle of the forest road. Now, I know no one else was around because that one spot that's next to me, it was completely empty. There's no other camp spots till another quarter mile or so up around the road and or further beyond that. However, I walked up to the middle of the forest road, and as I tell people, I do this on occasions. I've done this with other people that's come out camping with me. We'll walk out to the middle of the road, total darkness, just stop and listen for a little bit. I do this. I don't know why I do this. It's something I picked up or a habit, whatever. But I like to do this on occasions where I'll go out into the middle of the forest road and I'll stop, listen, look around in total darkness before I start turning the light on if I need the light. Well, in this case, you know, I was by myself, and that's where I'll use my phone, for example. Say this was the spotlight, so I turned my light on, and I started, you know, well, looking at the forest across from me. I was probably about 20 feet from the tree line, and as soon as I pulled the trigger on the spotlight to start beaming over there, just to look in the woods, well, I noticed as soon as I did that, you could hear a deer run off. You hear a four-legged animal like I spooked the deer. I was like, oh, cool. Okay, a deer just ran off. So I'm taking the spotlight and I'm scanning from my left to my right. And as I got to right around between the 1 and just before or as I hit the 2 o'clock position, whatever was inside the tree line over there around the 2 o'clock position, I must have got its attention because what was there was very large, very heavy, and without doubt, it was on 2 feet. There was no denying what I was hearing. Now, I never heard nothing. I mean, excuse me, I never saw anything, but what I heard was very large and very heavy, and again, undoubtedly, it was bipedal. Because everything I heard every step. Every step it took had a crunch and a thump on it, and it sounded like it was so close. That's how loud these steps were, and knowing that there was nobody else around, I was in. Besides the spotlight, it was darkness behind me, and my adrenaline kicked in. It was just like, and my heart started pounding like it was about to come out of my chest.
Yeah.
I was actually. That's one of the moments I was actually scared. Now, I started walking backwards. When I heard this, I literally started walking backwards, looking over my shoulder, make sure I wasn't going to trip over into the ditch or something as I worked my way back into the campsite. But as I got back into the campsite after hearing that, it's like I instantly calmed back down because I took another log or two, added in the fire, and I sat down in my chair. And like I said, again, I instantly came to a calmness. It's like the fear went away. And I started to think about what I just heard. And even though it was sounding very large and heavy, I mean, I'm talking about, I don't know, maybe massive was a better way to describe it. But I heard those steps. I knew it was on 2 feet. And it was going away from me. That's the realization I came to. It was going away from me. Now, one thing I think about, all right, let's back up a year before that with the 2014 encounter. Just prior to us having that encounter of that situation, note that there was a deer present right before that. This situation, I was completely by myself, and I spooked up a deer just to my left in front of me. And then all of a sudden, I have this large, heavy bipedal walk away from me inside the tree line. I get to thinking about both of those situations, and I question myself about this because a lot of people believe that Bigfoot hunts and eats deer. So that's the question I still ask myself to this very day. Did I interrupt something? Was Bigfoot, were they about to make a kill or attack on these deer? You know, because deer are very populated in this area. The George Washington National Forest of Virginia has got tons of deer, just like you guys have tons of deer up in the forest up here. And so, yeah, those are something I look back on as far as those two situations that just so happened to happen. Like I said, a year apart in the same general section of woods. Just the 2015 was just around the corner. But and the other little thing I think about sometimes, like, was that whatever walked away from me in 2015 was he or she one of the ones that were involved with what happened in 14? You know, I was like, I don't know, but we never heard no steps. We never heard nothing over there because I think the ground was different over there. Like I said, there was grass clumps over there. Where this took place, there was leaves and sticks and debris. But yeah, just around the corner was nothing but grass, softer soil and grass. You know, so of course the thorns and trees and the bushes. But so explain, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. That would make sense why we didn't hear steps walking away from us over there when I had that happen to me 20 feet away. You know, just from the tree line. Because whatever this was just inside that tree line, out of my view of light. Because I had that spotlight beaming at that light, and I felt like it was just on the other side of my spotlight, the beam of light. And like when I heard that, I was like, I never not once saw nothing, not even a glimpse or a movement or nothing. But I felt like I should have because that's how close it sounded. It was that close. But yeah, 2014 and 15 in Virginia in the George Washington National Forest. Yeah, I'll never forget those moments. So, but yeah, that was that.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing. I couldn't
yeah.
imagine. Now I've heard accounts where people say that they've had aggressive encounters with Bigfoot, and like I was just asking him the other day. You know, like you hear people say, "Oh, Bigfoot was looking in my window" or whatever. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think stops him from coming in? And like, if we was on the menu, like, there's no stopping him. He's gonna come in and get you regardless.
Well, I believe, and I mean, I can't prove this, but just this is more or less really my opinion. Well, for one thing, a lot of people believe Bigfoot to be very intelligent. One thing is, I just believe that they may have a. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, or say it. I believe they might have a form of respect of other life. You know, um, like for a number of occasions, a lot of the stories I've heard and other stories and reports I've gotten from others that's happened with them or people they know in Virginia is where they've had these encounters, up close, face to face encounters. And to bring my buddy Tracy involved, my buddy Tracy had a very close encounter during the daytime, and he was completely by himself. Just to use him as an example. But if you look at and from what you gather from all these stories and these very close encounters, Bigfoot doesn't want to be bothered. They don't want to bother you either because I really feel unless they feel like you're being a threat to them, you know. Like I tell people, even a venomous snake won't attack you unless you put them in that position. You know, a
Right.
lot of wildlife is the same way. Don't corner them. Don't put them in that position. But I do believe, just like a black bears are very skittish and will go the other way. But if there's a reason for them to defend themselves, they will. You know, cubs, food, whatever, get out of that way. Let them go about their business. I know I've had a lot of black bear experiences and encounters in Virginia. I'm just waiting for one up here because I know they get big up here. So,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, but that's just my opinion. I just think that there's a type of respect. I think they have a type of respect. Yeah, I've heard very few aggressive stories. Mainly, most of the stories that have aggression more happen further out west. Um, I just feel like people, if you ever, I mean, for people that might have had rocks thrown at them, you know, and like I've had a rock thrown at me in Virginia. It was probably about a football-sized stone, but it never hit
Mhm.
me. This was several years ago when like an old girlfriend of mine was walking up a trail. We had crossed this creek right after, you know, because you have to cross the creek to continue where the trail was. Um, yeah, this rock comes landing right between me and her. And we look down, we look at each other, like our jaws are basically on the ground. Like, what the hell? And we're looking back to where that came from. We never saw nothing, but we did hear somewhere in the distance, like, woo. I'm like, okay.
Mm.
So it kind of put us both on edge. It was like we had to continue walking up through this very narrow, tight little trail that's where the mountain laurel and all the bushes are closed in on the trail. You know, so
Mhm.
basically we're already feeling like we're walking into an ambush, you know. But where that
Yeah.
comes out, you know, long story short, but yeah, usually when stuff like that happens, I believe is a sign of or warning. They're just like, okay, you got too close to us, stay out of this
Mhm.
area, you know. Because the funny thing is, what happened prior to having that rock thrown, there was an observation. We were before we came up to the creek. We were on a part of that trail where we were observing and looking. And I had back when this took place, back when you know smartphones were still new, I had a cheap, very low quality camera phone. And there was something across the way because we had all this mountain laurel, but we were looking something up on the hill. I had pulled my camera up and I'm holding it up like this, and I do a little pinch them to zoom in just enough to where it doesn't blur up too much. Because some phones, how pixelation comes in, and well, we're looking through my phone. She's standing right there, and we're looking up, and we're all of a sudden like, "You see that right there?" We see this black. I don't know what you want to call it. This little black body or head or whatever it was, kind of going up and down or moving around up and out of the bushes. And it's funny. She's the one that said it. I don't know. She's like, "Oh, it's a baby squatch or a small squatch or something like that." I said, "I don't know." I ruled it off as just being a bear playing up on the hill there, But this was just before we went up the rest of the little trail and crossed that creek. That was right before the rock got thrown at us. So I questioned it. I said, okay, maybe it wasn't a bear. Maybe it was something else, and we were too close. But yeah, um, I think about that. I mean, but as far as them being aggressive, I can't say I've ever had anything happen to me. Um, rock throwing, I've heard that on numerous occasions. But as far as people being attacked,
Mhm.
maybe there is some rogue ones out there. I mean, we see there's a lot of these horror flicks out there, and it gives our minds or imaginations a thought of, okay, maybe there is something out there that does this. Like my favorite
Yeah.
Bigfoot movie, well, one of my favorite Bigfoot movies is called Big Legend. And if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then if you
definitely
see
look for
that,
it.
then you're not going to want to go in the woods again. But no, it's not that bad. It's a good movie. Yeah, yeah, it makes you think though. It really does because
Yeah.
sad thing is, yeah, it's not not based on a true story, but it kind of makes you think that hey, this could really happen. This could
Right.
it gives you that scenario, so that mindset to think, okay, this is something I want to be careful of, but don't let that ruin your experience or your desire to go out in the woods and camp and everything. But there's only one movie, Bigfoot movie, that they use some real live caught stuff like the audios, like the movie exists. Now they use the audio that they use in that film actually comes from real recordings from alleged Bigfoot, you know, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know that until I read up about all that online one time, and I said, well, that's pretty cool that they're using real recordings in the making of a Bigfoot thriller slash horror movie because that one there. If you've never seen that one, Bigfoot becomes pissed off after his wife and kid gets killed.
Yeah.
By accident. It was an accident, but he goes on a rampage. So. But yeah, so if you haven't seen that one, it's worth checking out too. So don't watch it with the kids.
Yeah, we've seen Rebirth Walk
Yeah.
36, maybe. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. You said that you think that they might have like a natural respect for other living beings or creatures.
Yeah. I mean, I can't prove that, but I honestly feel that. It's like they don't want to be bothered with us. So it's like basically if they encounter if we have to run into each other, yeah, they're gonna check you out. Like they're probably gonna snub their nose at you. Damn human. Just go about their business. It's like
Yeah. Now,
like get out of my woods.
Would you say that's more of a human characteristic?
I mean, it could be. I mean, all you hear now, depending on how you view this, which is interesting because a lot of our non-species of primates act just like we do. And I mean, they have their own characteristics. They're very unique in their own way with their behaviors. And yeah, a lot of them, if you look at them, a lot of them, yeah, we could contribute and say, yeah, they have a lot of human, what's the word? Yeah, not qualifications, but characteristics, and some of them do we could relate to. So yeah, it depends on how you look at that. Yeah, you could say human or both non-human primates, because which is like primates in general. I mean, they care more about and they pay attention to their own kind. Where they're just like us. If we go out in public with our family, wife, kids, whatever, and if we feel like there's a potential danger involved, we're gonna pay attention to that.
Right.
We're gonna keep our family close, and and there's like try to avoid that situation. So I feel it's the same scenario with Bigfoot. Why not? Because they don't know us like that. They don't know how that we could be a potential threat to them. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping bourbon at the same time. My Sprite doing it to me. So yeah, why not? I think there's a lot of things that we don't understand about them. A lot of times our problem is we just assume the worst or assume this and that about them. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways we can look at that. So absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So sorry, I keep seeing my phone vibrate. My
No,
buddy
you're
Olaf
good.
keeps calling me. Yeah.
Luke, did you have any other questions or anything?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool. Daniel, is there anything that you would like to plug? I know that you had plugged some things there in the beginning. Is there anything else that you'd like to try to get out there?
Well, there's a couple things. Well, one thing I'm working on. I've gotten so far into it is one of my new books. I've been debating or trying to fight with myself or figure out what I'm going to title it, but I am trying to seriously make this very informative compared to I have other research guides, field guides, and stuff that I published. This one here is taking more of a very objective approach on a lot of things surrounding Bigfoot, Sasquatch. It does. So far, I've included a lot of research in there. My own experiences as well. Anybody else out there that has an experience that wants to share detailed information, I've been putting the information out there. Nobody's got back to me. I mean, I put the book on hold in hopes that somebody might want to share something for me to include in it. So I'm about to move on and just the hell with it. They have their opportunity. But so yeah, I got a new book I'm working on. The other thing is, as far as my YouTube channel, like I said, with the camping video that I'm putting out there, one of the things that's new that I'm trying to do is, share my research. Well, I've been doing that, but as far as camping in general, I am trying to share product and do product reviews. And do a little thing. I don't know if you guys watch it. Me and Julia, we love watching these guys. They're based out of the UK. One in particular is based out of New Zealand. It's called AB Camping. Tony and his dog Bruno. I mean, it's an awesome channel. It's a fun channel if you like watching camping. One thing that they do is they share different camping. He camps in different tents, different styles. Likes to show off his product. Now I've somewhat done that, but I'm kind of trying to make a regular thing out of it if I can. Me and Julie, Julie's got me into doing hammock camping. Now, again, like I mentioned, I'm new into that. I have some adjustments that you have to do with that. So, but yeah, I want to start putting content out there based off of camping, and of course, throwing Bigfoot in the mix. I want people to start seeing that. I want to try to be informative, educational. Because a lot of people do miss my field videos. I haven't put out field videos in a while, and I'm going to work on doing that. So if you guys want to watch and follow, or anyone else out there, go to YouTube and look for Bigfoot Zone. E.C.B.R.O is my YouTube channel. Follow and subscribe to content. And if there's something that you want me to talk about, because when I'm on camera out there camping, I try my best to cover certain topics. On certain things people ask me. I got a lot more to do. I don't know how often I'm able to do this, but I will be trying to put content out a lot more than I have. I'm around, I don't have a lot of subscribers. Compared to some of these bigger channels, I'm still down in the low. I got 3,700, a little over 3,700, but for the other content channels out there that do what I'm doing, some of them are in the 100,000. So wow, maybe I don't know. Maybe they've had their channels longer than I have. I don't know. But so yeah, I try my best to put content out there and keep these people informed, and because there's a lot of people that can't get out there like we can, so they want to see this. It's their experience that we get to share our experience and our time with them. So, just like these aren't what we call armchair researchers. I have a lot of respect for them, and people don't realize that these armchair researchers, they watch us. They learn and pick up from us. And there's only so much that they can gather from their computers. So they turn to people like me and other researchers that are out there exploring, finding things, sharing our knowledge on wildlife, because they can't get out there, but they want to. We're their eyes. We're their eyes. So they're always watching. And so, yeah, so that's why I try my best to put content out there when I'm able to. So basically, the YouTube channel is the biggest thing. The events, May 25th in Bakersville Community Grove Park in Somerset, the Pennsylvania Myths and Legends Festival. You can find me all over Facebook and social media. I'm not hard to find. Daniel Benoit, Benoit. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, which is known as X now. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not hard to find. Or you can go to my website, E.C.B.R.O. Yep. If you have any questions or want to share content, or you want to come out and have questions about the festival, you can email me, ecbro98@gmail.com. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So
heck yeah, man. We really appreciate you taking the time to come on and tell us about these things.
Absolutely. I know, again, I want to apologize. I know sometimes I get into rambling sometimes. Sometimes when you ask me a question, I'll start off explaining or talking about something, but I've been known to jump to something totally different. I do that with presentations. When I go to speaking events, yes, I use a presentation to keep me on track, but I still do it. A lot of times it's because I start talking about something, then it'll bring me to something else, and I start talking about that. Then I'll come back to where I started, because usually there's a reason or a connection between the two random things I just talked about. So I just have a weird way of presenting things sometimes.
Yeah, it's easy to ramble on, especially whenever you're passionate about the topic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and yeah, this is my first podcast in a little while. Well, it's been a couple months, but I had a couple more I was supposed to do this month before you guys, and I was like, one guy I was supposed to do on Friday, and the guy contacted me early in the week. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be out camping. I'm sorry, I totally forgot all about you. But I'm gonna be in the woods, Technically, I probably could have done it. I did have signal out there, but I just didn't know how well. I didn't want to take a chance. I prefer to do it when I'm here at home because I got good Wi-Fi here now. Uh, so yeah, I prefer to just wait till I'm home to do it. I don't want to be out in the woods,
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go camping, if I have signal, sometimes I've been known to do a Facebook Live video, but that's about it. So.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely be on the lookout for more of your content for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We'll see you at the PA Bigfoot Mything Legends. We'll be there that weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And hey, guys, I mean, if you're coming out there to attend, cool. But if you guys are more than welcome. If you want to do a pre-recording podcast or interview people, because there'll be other eyewitnesses, there'll be other people's stories out there. Some of my speakers have got experiences, so maybe if you want to sit down and do I don't know how well it'll work out there, considering there's going to be a lot of people, it's going to be noisy, but it's something if you guys want to do out there, if you can manage it, you guys are more than welcome to do so. By all means.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to bring a table and set up somewhere and put a banner up, I mean, I could definitely try to make an announcement and direct people to you guys if they want to share their story with you guys. So or you could sign them up, maybe sign up for get them on your podcast just to do it like on this here, for future reference. But yeah. I always encourage podcasters and stuff that hey, come on out there and put the word out there for you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, hey, we don't want to hold you up any longer. I feel like we could go all night with this, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a little time because it's just Julie's doing her nails right there, in the kitchen. But yeah, we'll probably go back to watching TV and have a snack and eat some junk food here shortly. So
hey, that's a good way to end the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still need to eat dinner.
What's the? Oh yeah. She might be doing that. I know she was talking about making she was telling me about going to make for dinner, and I was like, so I'm kind of anxious for it.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you get to it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for having me on here. This has been great, guys. I really do appreciate it. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely keep in touch. If you have any questions offline or whatever, just let me know. So
for sure, we'll do. And you have a good night, man.
Good deal. You too. Thank you guys again.
All right.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Exploring. And today we talked to Daniel Benoit, and I thought it was a pretty good conversation. I mean, he talked most of the time, but it was still a good conversation. I enjoyed listening. We enjoyed listening to him talk about all kinds of different things and his experiences with Bigfoot. If you have an encounter, please go to exploringtheonpod.com and type in the encounter section. There's a chance you could be on the podcast. Or if you want to just email us at exploring_the_unknown@outlook.com. You could also do that as well. Or if you want to message us through Facebook, you can do that as well. The website has all the episodes. It has a blog. It has a whole bunch of cool stuff on that website. I really enjoy that website. It has merch. You can buy some merch and affiliate links. Let's talk about the affiliate links. So if you go to GhostStop or Amazon in the links below and purchase something, we get a percentage of that and help towards the podcast. We also have a Cash App and PayPal. You can send us a donation through either one of those. And if you want, right in the what it's for, or would you rather question, and we can use it. We'll use it on a future episode.
Yeah, that would be cool. I hope that somebody does do that because I don't know. I like the would you rather's that we do. I mean, Chat GPT, like it makes all of them obviously, but I don't know. I think it would be interesting to hear one from a viewer. Yeah.
So let's talk about the PA Mything Legends, hosted by Daniel Benoit himself. And thank you, Daniel, for inviting us out to this festival. We're very excited to be there and be a part of it. We'll be there with our podcasting stuff. Be recording podcasts, scheduling podcasts for the future, and possibly selling some merch. PA Camping Adventure. There's another festival we're going to be at in September 6th and 7th at Farmington, PA. I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for all the conventions we're going to be a part of this year.
I'm a little nervous. I am. Like, I don't know. Like being right here in my room, I got all the confidence in the world because I'm behind the microphone and the computer. But we go out there and we're in the public, you know. I mean, I might start getting shy and nervous, and I might start maybe stuttering, you know.
You'll be fine.
I'm sure.
You ready for the would you rather question?
I think so.
Did I miss anything? I don't think
I
I
don't
did.
think so. Maybe the YouTube. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify or iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube. Like and share the video. That way you can get notified every time that we make an upload. We upload on Sundays, but who knows? In the future, we might be dropping some more content. And if we are, you want to get notified, you know?
Definitely. All right. Would you rather embark on a thrilling expedition to capture photographic evidence of Bigfoot armed only with a camera in your wicks, or challenge a chupacabra in a nocturnal game of hide and seek in Puerto Rico in the desert, and the only moon to guide you? That
It's only
sounds
the moon
weird.
to guide me.
Yeah.
What was the first one again?
Photograph of Bigfoot only with a camera.
Well, the chupacabra, that's a thing, isn't it? Like they had discovered that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go down to Puerto Rico and play a game of hide and seek with the chupacabra. I feel like seeing that Bigfoot is the hide and seek champion, going up against the chupacabra, I should have a chance.
They're blood sucking creatures. You want to take that chance?
I'm not a goat.
Thing is, you might have a taste for humans as well.
Do I get to become a chupacabra after?
No.
I just die.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's no fun. I guess. No, I'm still sticking with my answer. It makes it gives it an edge.
I think I'm gonna try to photograph Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get out there, your camera dies.
Well, that would suck. I'll
That's
backup cameras.
I was gonna say, isn't that your current situation right now? Your batteries are dead in your camera.
Yeah.
You better get ready then and get some batteries.
And some extra batteries.
That's it. If anybody wants to donate batteries, Luke needs some for his camera. All right, man. Well, this was fun. I don't have anything else to add.
I'll see you next week on another episode of Exploring Unknown.
See you next week, everybody.